Chinese beauty! Chinese beauty! Chinese beauty! Chinese a liar! China's a liar! Stop lying to the law! Stop the lying to the law! China lies, people die! China lies, people die! Stop killing in Tibet! Stop the killers in Tibet! Tibet was never part of China! Tibet was never part of China! Tibet for Tibetans! Tibet for Tibetans! Free Taiwan! Free Taiwan! Free Hong Kong! Free Hong Kong! Hands off Taiwan! China, stop the genocide!
China, stop the genocide!
China, stop the genocide!
China, stop the genocide!
Independence for East Turkestan!
Independence for East Turkestan!
Independence for East Turkestan!
Independence for East Turkestan!
China, stop killing in Kyrgyzstan! Welcome, United Nations! Welcome, United Nations! United Nations, we want justice! United Nations, we want justice! We want human rights! Human rights in Tibet! Human rights in Kyrgyzstan! Human rights in East Turkestan! Free Taiwan! Free Taiwan! Free Hong Kong now! Free Hong Kong now! Welcome, United Nations!
United Nations!
China lies, people die!
China lies, people die!
China lies, people die!
China lies, people die!
Stop lying to the world!
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 Welcome, United Nations!
Welcome, United Nations!
Welcome, United Nations!
Welcome, United Nations!
United Nations, we want justice!
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 Free Tibet, free Hong Kong!
Free Tibet, free Hong Kong!
Free Tibet, free Taiwan!
Free Tibet, free Taiwan!
Free Hong Kong!
Free Hong Kong!
Free Taiwan!
Free Taiwan!
Free East Turkestan!
Free East Turkestan!
Free Tibet, free Hong Kong!
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 I'm going to yeah, Kyrgyzstan. Okay. For the Kyrgyzstan, stop Chinese invasion in Kyrgyzstan.
Stop Chinese. Stop Chinese expansion in Kazakhstan.
Stop Chinese expansion.
China, stop killing Kazakh people.
China, stop killing Kazakh people.
Stop Chinese expansion in Kazakhstan.
Stop killing expansion in Kazakhstan.
China, stop killing Kazakh people.
China, stop killing Kazakh people.
Free Southern Mongolia.
Free Southern Mongolia.
Free Southern Mongolia.
Free Southern Mongolia.
Human rights for Southern Mongolia. China out of Southern Mongolia. Free Southern Mongolia. Free Southern Mongolia. Keep Taiwan free. Taiwan is a Taiwan. Taiwan is a Taiwan. Hands up Taiwan. Give Taiwan free. Give Taiwan free. Free Southern Mongolia. Human rights Southern Mongolia. China out of Southern Mongolia. 70 years occupation. Freedom now, freedom now. Are we say 7 years of occupation? You guys say free Tibet now. 70 years of occupation. 70 years of occupation. Are we say 7 years of lies? You guys say Tibet belongs to Tibetans. 7 years, 70 years of lies. Are we say 70 years of lies? You guys said Tibet never was part of China. 70 years of lies. Tibet for Tibetans. Tibet for Tibetans. Free Tibet, China out. Free Tibet, China out. Are we say 70 years of genocide? You guys say freedom now, freedom now. 70 years of genocide. 70 years of genocide. 70 years of genocide. Enough is enough, China enough. 70 years of killings. Okay, I will say every single years of killings, whatever I say, you guys say enough is enough, China enough. 70 years of killings. 70 years of killings. 70 years of genocide. China is a guilty. China is a guilty. Stop lying to the world. China lies, Tibetans die. China lies, people die.
Free Tibet now.
Free East Turkestan now.
Free East Turkestan now.
Free Southern Mongolia now.
Free Southern Mongolia now.
China out of Tibet 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 now.
China out of East Turkestan 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 now.
China out of Southern Mongolia now.
China out of South Mongolia now.
China out of Southern Mongolia now.
China South Mongolia now.
Free Taiwan now.
Free Taiwan now.
Free Taiwan now.
Free Taiwan now.
China out of Kazakhstan 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 now.
China is guilty.
China is guilty.
China is guilty.
China is guilty.
Guilty of genocide.
Guilty of genocide.
Guilty of genocide.
Guilty of genocide.
China lies, people die.
China people die.
China lies, people die.
China lies, people die.
China stop the genocide.
China stop the genocide.
China stop the genocide.
China stop the genocide.
China in the occupation.
China in the occupation.
China in the occupation.
China in the occupation.
China get out of East Turkestan.
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 China get out of Southern Mongolia.
China get out of South Mongolia.
China get out of Southern Mongolia.
China get out of South Mongolia.
China get out of Tibet.
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 China get out of Taiwan.
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 China get out of Kazakhstan.
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 China stop killing Uyghurs.
China stop killing Uyghurs.
China stop killing Uyghurs. China stop killing Kazakhs.
China stop killing Kazakhs.
China stop killing Kazakhs.
China stop killing Kazakhs.
China stop killing Tibetans.
China stop killing Tibetans.
China stop killing Tibetans.
China stop killing Tibetans.
China stop killing Mongolians.
China stop killing Mongolians.
China stop killing Mongolians.
China stop killing Mongolians.
China stop killing people of Hong Kong.
China stop killing people.
China stop killing people of Hong Kong. China stop the genocide. China stop the genocide. Independence for East Turkestan. Independence for East Turkestan. Independence for Tibet.
Independence for Tibet.
Independence for Tibet.
Independence for Tibet.
Independence for Hong Kong.
Independence for Hong Kong.
Independence for Hong Kong.
Independence for Hong Kong.
Independence for South Mongolia.
Independence for South Mongolia.
Independence for South Mongolia.
Independence for South Mongolia.
Recognize Taiwan independence.
Recognize Taiwan independence.
Recognize Taiwan's independence.
Recognize Taiwan independence.
China stop the expansion of Kazakhstan.
China stop space Kazakhstan.
China stop the expansion of Kazakhstan.
China stop space Kazakhstan.
China get out of 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 East Turkestan.
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 China get out of Tibet.
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 China get out of Southern Mongolia.
China get out of South Mongolia.
China get out of Southern Mongolia.
China
Free Southern Mongolia!
Free Southern Mongolia!
Human rights for Southern Mongolia!
Human rights for Southern Mongolia!
China out of Southern Mongolia!
China out of Southern Mongolia!
Keep Taiwan free!
Keep Taiwan free!
Taiwan is Taiwan!
Taiwan is Taiwan!
Hands off Taiwan!
Hands off Taiwan!
End illegal occupation!
End illegal occupation!
China stop the genocide!
China stop the genocide!
Independence for East Turkestan!
Independence for East Turkestan!
Stop the killing, stop the hate!
Stop the killing, stop the hate!
China is a terror state!
China is the terror state!
Stop the killing, stop the hate!
Stop the killing, stop the hate!
China is a terror state!
China is a terror state!
Stop China's expansion in Kazakhstan!
Stop China's expansion in Kazakhstan!
China, stop killing Kazakh people!
China, stop killing Kazakh people!
70 years of genocide!
70 years of genocide!
Freedom now! Freedom now!
Freedom now! Freedom now!
China is guilty!
China is guilty!
Guilty of genocide!
Guilty of genocide!
China, stop lying to the world!
China, stop lying to the world!
China lies, people die!
China lies, people die!
Stop the killing, stop the hate!
Stop
China is a
killing,
terror
stop the
state!
hate!
China is a terror state!
China is a terror state!
Okay, right now. If you want, I can call out the chat. Just one round for everybody.
Ben değil mi?
70 years of genocide! 70 years of genocide! China is guilty! China is guilty! China lies, people die! China lies, people die! 70 years of occupation! 70 years of occupation!
about 1 minute, so everybody, if you could be silent, thank you.
Stand up, United Nations! Stand up, United Nations! Stand up, United Nations! Stand up, United Nations! Stand up against genocide! Stand up against genocide! Stand up against genocide! Stand up against genocide! Stand up, United Nations! Stand up, United Nations! Stand up, United Nations! Stand up, United Nations! Stand up against terrorist China! 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 Stand up, United Nations! Stand up, United Nations! Stand up, United Nations! Stand up, United Nations! Stand up for East Turkestan! Stand up for East Turkestan! Stand up for Tibet! Stand up for Tibet! Stand up for Southern Mongolia! Stand up for Southern Mongolia! Stand up for Hong Kong! Stand up for Hong Kong! Stand up for Taiwan! Stand up for Taiwan! Stand up for Kazakhstan! Stand up for Kazakhstan! Stand up for Kazakhstan! Stand up for Kazakhstan!
Hello. Hello. Hello.
Now what we're going to do, we all have to now all of the countries we have to focus the now all banner is coming in your camera.
Yeah.
Banner is coming.
Yeah.
Here. All up.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Ngong Tarjin, President of Regional Tibetan Youth Congress of New York and New Jersey. To begin with today's program, we're going to observe a minute of silence to those brothers and sisters, to those martyrs who sacrificed their life for the sake of our freedom, for the sake of our country. Okay, time starts now. Thank you. Today marks the 70th anniversary of founding day of People's Republic of China. Usually there will be a jubilation on the founding days, but for us, we Tibetans, people of East Turkestan, people of Taiwan, people of Mongolia, people of Hong Kong, people of Kazakhstan, people of freedom-loving people around the world, this day is the saddest day. This day is the darkest day in history of humanity and freedom-loving around the world. Because the millions of people has been killed under this regime. Millions of people has been arrested, brutally murdered, destroying temples, mosques, and churches are their regular activities. Restricting gatherings during the religious festivals such as Ramadan and Sagadawa, expelling monks from monasteries and sending to re-education camps, Extinction of our language is alarming for us. Influx of large number of Han Chinese to our land makes ethnic people minority in their own land. Environmental destruction is alarming for all of us too. 70 years passed when the China was open to the world. It has promised to improve the human rights situation in China. However, it has never kept its promise, instead get worse. Therefore, we stand here today in front of United Nations. Therefore, we stand here today together. We're sending a strong message to the People's Republic of China that China should stop its brutal activities in our land. And it's time for China to change its nature. Let us live free. Let us govern ourselves. Leave our countries that are occupied illegally. Thank you. Without taking much time, I'm now going to invite Mr. Ngaung Tashila. Ngaung Tashila is former president of Regional Tibetan Youth Congress, now serving as a board member of USTC, US Tibet Committee, our oldest Tibetan organization in New York, perhaps in USA. Ngaung Tashila, please come on stage. Since Ngaung Tashila is busy with the interview with the media, I'm going to invite Angga Badu from Southern Mongolia.
Samachano. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's my great honor to be here today, standing in solidarity with the friends from Tibet, East Turkestan, Taiwan, Hong Kong, and Kazakhstan, to express our strong protest to the government of China. Today, China is celebrating her 70th anniversary of establishment of the communist regime, a totalitarian regime that not only illegally occupied the nations of Southern Mongolia, Tibet, East Turkestan, but also terrorized her own citizens. To the people of the occupied nations of Southern Mongolia, Tibet, and East Turkestan, this 70-year is a 70-year of annexation, occupation, and colonization, genocide, ethnic cleansing, and political purge. A 70-year of lies, brainwash, and broken promise. The promise of autonomy has never been fulfilled. All of our political rights were taken away. Our basic human rights and fundamental freedom are utterly denied. Our culture is destroyed. Our language is banned. Our environment is devastated. Our society is marginalized, and our communities are torn apart. Today, Southern Mongolians who demand the most basic rights to survival are arrested, detained, and sent to jail, let alone those who are like Mr. Hada, who demanded political rights and self-determination. Southern Mongolian herders who defended their land and their rights to traditional way of life are subject to excessive force and criminalization. Dissidents and writers like Mr. Lamjab are imprisoned as national separatists. Despite these 70 years of state terror and extreme brutality, we Southern Mongolians, Tibetans, and Uyghurs have never given up our hope and aspiration to national freedom. despite China's attempt to instill fear in Hong Kong and Taiwan. People of Hong Kong and Taiwan are rising up for democracy, human rights, and freedom, rejecting Chinese totalitarianism and hegemony. As long as we refuse to give up our hope and determination, as long as we believe in our soul force and people power, one day Southern Mongolia will be free, Tibet will be free, East Turkestan will be free, and Hong Kong and Taiwan will be free from Chinese interference to determine their own future and define their own identity. Thank you.
Thank you, Ekapadu. Next, we have Dogolamula from Chushikangdu. Chushikangdu is the first resistance organization formed inside Tibet, backed up by CIA. Chushikangdu is the one organization that escorted His Holiness the Dalai Lama to India. Dogolamula, please.
Good afternoon and Tashidalek to all my brothers and sisters from Hong Kong, Taiwan, East Turkestan, Mongolia, and all my dear Tibetans. First and foremost, I would like to throw some light on my organization, which was formed during the invasion of Tibet by Chinese government, the CCP. And during the period of time, thousands and thousands Chinese were killed. But at the same time, we lost thousands and thousands of our heroes and martyrs. Today, we are staying here. We all are gathered, not for any personal matters, or not for a party, or not even for religious teachings. But we are here to stand against the CCP. But we should never forget who is our enemy. Who is our enemy?
China!
Who is our enemy?
China!
What the Chinese did for us till today. What the Chinese did for us till today. They installed it. They dominated. And they tortured our people without giving any consideration for human values, without having any hesitation. So, even after the 70 years of their occupation, the evil Chinese will never stop their totalitarian system in this world. So, I think we all should stand together. Now, it is not the time to sit and tolerate. Enough is enough. Whatever we did, that's enough. Now is the time that we all have to stand together. Everybody should know that China is the cheater. The CCP is a cheater. They cheat by telling lies to the world, and they kill whole innocent people. They even try to trap innocent people around the world among us. So it is our duty, our responsibility to stand strong, to save your nation, save your country, save your people. So, being an activist, being a lover of your country, one must know how to sacrifice. When the time comes to sacrifice your life, you should have confidence in you that you can give your life to your country. Regarding myself, if there's a time that if I can give my life and if I can save my country, Tibet, proudly and strongly I can stand that I can give my life. I will happily, proudly. That's all. And I would like to speak a little bit in my Tibetan language. So, the thing, Yamin Marshall, Chani, Ani Longa Duchu, Kobe. 니무티 내가 뱀이 찌올라 쌤로 수고야 쌤기 마 치로 땅이 되라 아니 나서 된간저 키고야 나도 배발 레레 모래네 쌤게 초식 쳐보시 거래 상무도 단다 이미네 드링자고 차샤겠나 세자 같이 뭐뭐 땅을 이미네 단대 대리야 배발 아주 주로가는 장가지네 집어도 이미네 먼저기 단대 탑세디 가진 연구래 먼저 수술 롱발라 쪄요 말বে 단대 뒤에 대리야 연미기 먼저기 롱바 맞춰줘서 사샤다 뱀미 조당 사샤 민년에 유 사샤 이미네 먼저 배발 던돌리기 세 민도 맞아 리숑 따라주기 상매 나오리 경고를 붙인 깜물을 붙인 딱다 나와다가 대리 가산 되네 이면에 경고를 붙인 이게 문내 숨차교 깔람나시 쓴얘기 회라 쓰 드난주기 회체 쓰 근거 배바지인데 예스 키게 개세 경고를 붙인 띵해치다 수수 개카기 개보 수수 샤니 수수 라마 수수 등에 줬나 탑수치는 수수랑 zel랭고래 먼저 건강이라 먹였냐라 미셔마티를 내어줘야 돼 먼저 논들이 샴들이 심심해 따리 개컵 라견해 따리 라이는 랑시 비미초 먼저 페메시네 랑게 오늘래 큐도 치게요 먼저 치게요 배샤 큐도 거는 먼저 거래 유네 별 법제선다 체니에 말해 상마 늘 되는 내용을 개컵이 먼저 배기 개컵이 먼저 경험하면 셔마 수지 경험 용마다 제상 벽이 싸된디 벽이 탑스디 맛이야 먼저 랭기래 오늘 땅을 배박 참아 니세나 세 뒤뒤리샤 맥배 타랬다다 개별 연이야 먼저 테마 망부치 참아 쉬게 깡냐래 파 미랬다니 어디 나샤야 좀 먼저 랭게 말다 니가 먼저기 뭔데 심슈디 파나 레그 빼고래 락냈다고 그래 근데 정말 별바지 다리에 뒤지들라 키나 갱킹이 매라네 톱방요 말해 나도 별바지를 깨타고 쇼라 탑주치야 나도 랭게래 제가 대리원이 사마 가디니까 기로 쳐도 건다 사마 토지나 쉬어이 타만델라 공스장구 쳐보죠 고도 치노때 못한 아니 배랑제기 기비기마 요도샤야 멜람 베겔로
Next, we have Gani Stebikov from Free Kazakhstan. Gani Stebikov is a Kazakh American human rights activist, and he is the leader of a Free Kazakhs organization which is striving against the dictatorship and seeks human rights and democracy in Kazakhstan. Free Kazakhs organization which fights against the dictatorship and for human rights in Kazakhstan, and its leader Gani Stebikov.
We are Kazakhs. We are Kazakh people. We know much better than anyone else what does it mean being part of communist world. We Kazakh people were part of communist country since its birth till its death. We were part of Russian Empire for 200 years. And 70 years part of communist world. Result of that, 70% of Kazakh people were killed by communists. All Kazakh intellectuals and patriots were killed by communists. Our first government and leaders, Allah Shorda, were killed by communists. We almost lost our language. We almost lost our culture and national identity. In December 1986, our young people went to a peaceful protest. They demanded freedom. They demanded human rights. They demanded independence. Then communist soldiers shoot our young people. The blood of young Kazakhs irrigated the seeds of freedom and independence. And finally, we got independence in 1991. But nowadays, our dictatorship regime of Nazarbayev is illegally selling our lands and mineral resources to China to fill his and his mafia's pockets with Chinese money. Kazakhstan got 13 billion loans from China and 50 billion of Chinese investments. And now we can't pay back these loans. We can't pay back this debt. This year, some Kazakh schools started officially studying in Chinese language. Dictator Nazarbayev now is selling our next generation to China. So next Kazakh generation will be speaking Chinese, but not Kazakh language. Kazakhs will become Chinese. And we, Free Kazakhs, it's our organization, we demand to stop Chinese expansion in Kazakhstan. So Kazakhs fought for its freedom and independence for 270 years. We made 386 revolutions and riots to get our independence. We never lost our hope, our dreams. We never give up. And we fought for our dreams. And now I'm wishing to every community, to Tibet, to East Turkestan, to South Mongolia, to people of Hong Kong, to Taiwan, believe, have hope, never give up, and fight for your dreams. Thank you.
Thank you, Ghani. Regarding Ghani, it's very interesting because Ghani is born and raised under the rule of USSR and then got independence, and then now again under the influence of Chinese Communist government. You see these banners. We try to print those banners in Kazakhstan for better price and better quality. However, the Kazakhstan government found those banners and confiscated all those banners. And Ghani is under constant threat from the Kazakhstan government. It's very sad. And then we have to print these banners here in Jackson Heights. So next we have Laung Tashila. I already introduced Laung Tashila. Laung Tashila, former president of Regional Tibetan Youth Congress, current member of U.S. Tibet Committee. So Laung Tashila, please.
Good morning, everyone. Last night, or the 1st of October, in Asia, there was a so-called 70 years birthday of Communist Party, 70 years celebrations of forming of the People's Republic of China. Today we are here. We are the people from Tibet, Turkestan, Kazakhstan, Mongol, and we have Taiwan. We have history of more than hundreds and thousands of years. It's not a 70 years of this small kids play. We have history, culture, and national flags, national anthems, national emblems. We have all the requirements that's supposed to be a country. And we all are claiming for the independence of our respective country. The 70 years of Chinese Communist Party celebrated last night is for us, it is 70 years of totalitarians, dictators, occupations, intruders, and cultural assimilations. We're not going to accept with that. We totally disagree with that. Today, here we stand up and unitedly to dismantle so-called Republic of China. They just lie. Chinese Communist Party has lied and saying Republic of China. Where is the Republic of China? When we did that? When we agreed that? There's not a single evidence or document for that republic. We all are independent. Kazakhstan is independent, Mongolia is independent, Turkestan is independent, Tibet is independent. And they don't have any rights to intrude us, to occupy us, and says it's a republic. Today is we united here, is starting off the process of dismantling of this Communist Party. Maybe this year is the last year of that regime. The world's largest terrorist organization called People's Republic of China. We're not going to accept the totalitarians. People in Tibet, they more than 163 people have been self-immolated, and they sacrificed their life for independence, for freedoms of the religious. Another prominent lie of the Chinese Communist Party is now they are claiming for the process of finding of reincarnation of the 15th Dalai Lama. Our religious leader, Dalai Lama, is now 85 years old and he's still young and energetic. And he's already told that he will going to live more than 110 years. And we don't have any worry about our leader, His Holiness the Dalai Lama. But Communist China is worrying. They start worrying and they start talking about the reincarnations of our religious leader. On the other hand, they are not agreeing and depriving all kinds of religions. The party which doesn't agree with the religious is why they are worrying about the finding of reincarnations of one of the prominent religious leaders in the world. This is Chinese unrecoverable lie. 70 years is the destruction of the environmentals. Not only Tibet, not only Turkestan, not only Mongol, but all over the Asia, they occupy Tibet and they make our country, Tibet, as a dumping place. And our country is considering as the third fall of the world, where all the fresh waters are coming from our country and it's distributed to all the rest of the neighboring countries. And it polluted every country in the world, in the Asia. And then we have here Taiwan, people from the Taiwan. Taiwan is already independent. Taiwan is already separate countries. And China keeps on interfering. That's why we see that Chinese Communist Party is the most dangerous party in the world. It's a threat to the world. Just few weeks ago, Donald Trump, the President of the United States, mentioned in the United Nations, Chinese Communist Party is the most threat to the world. By seeing that, by feeling that, by knowing that, why the United Nations is not stopping or not talking? Why are they keeping silent in front of all countries? United Nations should monitor the countries in the world because that is their main objective. And China is zero legitimate. There's no legitimacy. And still, it is there in the United Nations as one of the permanent council members. It is totally injustice, unfair. And the people of the world should stand up and to point out that injustice in the United Nations too. At the end, I would like to say, we all are striving for the independence. We all want freedoms. So therefore, by standing unitedly we stand. By divide we fall. From today onwards, East Turkestan, Tibet, Kazakhstan, Mongol, Taiwan, we will keep struggling, keep working unless totally dismantling of these terrorist organizations. Thank you.
Thank you, Shila, for inspiring speech. Next, we have Jenny from Taiwan. Jenny is a very young activist from Keep Taiwan Free. She spoke during 10th March on Tibetan Uprising Day in front of thousands of Tibetans. Her speech was very inspiring and encouraging. Jenny, please.
Keep Taiwan free! Keep Taiwan free! Keep Taiwan free! Keep Taiwan free! Stand with Hong Kong! Stand with Hong Kong! Stand with Hong Kong! Stand with Hong Kong! Free Tibet! Free Tibet! Free Tibet! Free Tibet! This year has been another year too long. It has been a long 5 years since the umbrella movement, and even longer, 30 years since the Tiananmen massacre, an astonishing 60 years since the Tibetan uprising, and a very unfortunate 70 years since the founding of the People's Republic of China. Shame on the Chinese government! Shame on the Chinese government! How many more years do our communities have to endure until we see justice? How many more years until the oppression is stopped? My name is Jenny, and I'm with the Keep Taiwan Free movement, and I'm joined by Joshua and Jennifer from the Taiwanese American Association of New York. Our community is so proud to be here today with all of you freedom fighters. Even though Taiwan is by all definitions and international norms an independent and sovereign nation, we still are not treated as such. The Chinese Communist Party forces corporations, organizations, and countries to recognize a one China policy, forcing them to recognize Taiwan as a part of China. The CCP continues to tell us blatant lies of one country, two systems. And the Chinese Communist Party continues to threaten the use of force to annex our democratic Taiwan. Keep Taiwan free! Keep Taiwan free! Taiwan is Taiwan! Taiwan is Taiwan! Hands off Taiwan! Hands off Taiwan! From the concentration camps in East Turkestan, the stifling of freedoms in Tibet, the police brutality in Hong Kong, and the eradication of religion in China, the Chinese Communist Party is the greatest threat to world peace and security today, and they have been for 70 years, is that right? For 70 years, too long. We to say enough. Shame on the Chinese government. 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 Free Tibet. Free Tibet. Free Tibet. Free Tibet. Keep Taiwan free. Keep Taiwan free. Keep Taiwan free. Keep Taiwan free. On behalf of our Taiwanese community, we will continue to stand with you for this very fight, one of seeking justice, of correcting oppression, and of resistance is also one of our own. Thank you.
Next, we have Salih Hudaya from East Turkestan. Salih Hudayar is a Uyghur American political and human rights activist who is the founder and president of East Turkestan National Awakening Movement, which is a non-violent movement struggling to restore East Turkestan's independence as a secular, democratic republic guaranteeing human rights and freedom for all. He is also the ambassador to the United States from East Turkestan government in exile. Mr. Saleh, please.
Good morning, everyone. I'd like to thank everyone for gathering here today on this treacherous day, a day of mourning for us, if we understand. Gathered here today are people representing East Turkestan, Tibet, Manchuria, South Mongolia, Hong Kong, Taiwan, and nations throughout Central Asia, the Indo-Pacific, and the greater free world, as well as people of faith including Christians, Muslims, Buddhists, and practitioners of Falun Gong and others. We're here today to protest 70 years of Chinese state genocide, its murder of millions of our people, its brutal human rights atrocities, including the destruction of sacred religious rights, construction of concentration camps, its genocidal population control policies, its horrendous practice of human organ harvesting, its imprisonment of people of conscious and political dissent, and in many cases, its occupation of our homelands and its threats to our sovereignty. As many of you here may have heard, currently over 3 million Uyghurs and 500,000 Kazakhs and tens of thousands of Kyrgyz, Uzbeks, and Tatars are currently incarcerated in concentration camps across East Turkestan. China has collected the DNA samples, voice prints, and retina scans of over 36 million of our peoples, in which the Chinese People's Liberation Army's bio-warfare strategy hinted at the use of biogenetic, ethnic-specific genetic attacks against China's enemies, in other words, our people. And as of late, this is spreading to other parts of China and its occupied territories, including Tibet and inside China proper itself. Many of us here, we have gathered here today to let the world know that we still exist, that we will never give up our struggle for freedom and for independence of our homelands, that China is an illegal occupier, and that China and its Communist Party is a terrorist state, not only a threat to East Turkestan or Tibet or Hong Kong or Southern Mongolia or Taiwan or other parts, but to entire humanity. In the case of the aforementioned captive nations of East Turkestan, Tibet, Manchuria, South Mongolia, and Hong Kong, we would like to remind the international community and the United Nations that the Chinese regime signed the International Convention on Civil and Political Rights on October 5th, 1998. Article 1 of that treaty states, all peoples have the right of self-determination. By the virtue of that right, they will freely determine their political status and freely pursue their economic, social, and cultural development. For 70 years, since China has occupied our homelands, it offered some of us so-called autonomy, and others it made into special administrative zones. But that autonomy has not brought anything to our people other than genocide, other than extermination, other than concentration camps. So we must tell the international community to heed to our calls. We want independence.
We want independence.
We want independence.
We want independence.
Independence for East Turkestan.
Independence for East Turkestan.
Independence for Tibet.
Independence for Tibet.
Independence for Hong Kong.
Independence for Hong Kong.
Independence for South Mongolia.
Independence for South Korea.
Independence for Taiwan.
Independence for Taiwan.
We were once free and independent nations. And with the help and support of the free world and freedom-loving people, by God, we will regain our independence in the near future. And as our Tibetan brothers stated earlier, hopefully this year will be the last year for the Chinese Communist Party and its occupation forces.
Yes!
Yes! I mean.
As long as we are united, as long as we are steadfast, and as long as we are dedicated to our cause, we can achieve our independence with the support of the free world. We can get the world to recognize us as occupied nations, as occupied territories, and we can even get the Chinese communists to recognize that we are indeed independent nations.
Yeah!
Lastly, we're here calling on the free world to support our cause. We're asking them to make swift and decisive measures in support of our human rights and our political rights. For without political rights, there is no guarantee of human rights or freedom. Such measures include punitive tariffs, human rights sanctions, national boycotts of Chinese goods, institutional divestment from Chinese stocks, visa bans, the expulsion of Chinese diplomats who are openly denying the CCP's human rights abuses, formal démarches, and other economic and legal measures as you see fit. In 70 years, the world will look back on the choices that you, the free world, will make today. Will history judge you harshly for your silence in the face of these atrocities, in the face of this occupation, in the face of this genocide? Or will monuments be built to celebrate the decisions that you made to support democracy and human rights and independence? We, the aforementioned people of East Turkestan, of Tibet, of Manchuria, South Mongolia, Hong Kong, and our friends and allies throughout the world, ask you to do one simple thing. Ask yourselves, what can you do to help the 4 billion people suffering under the brutal Chinese Communist regime and the billions more threatened by it? We ask that you act. In particular, we ask that you recognize our nations as captive nations and occupied territories, and recognize the current situation, especially in East Turkestan, as a genocide. Let me remind you, brothers and sisters, without our independence, we are nothing. We will not have our nation, we will not have anything. We won't even have our most basic human rights. So cling on to your independence, cling on to this struggle, for that is what will save you. And I would like to make a quick speech in my native tongue, Uyghur, to my community all across the world. Assalamu alaikum, barliq Sharq Turkistanlik qarindoshlar. Bugun biz Xitoy tajovuzchilarininki, yurtimizningki ishg'oliyatga 70 yillikqa yaqinlab qolganlik uchun uni lanet okuş için ve onu karıştırış için Tibetlikler, Şarkı Türkistanlıklar, Mongoliyalıklar, Hong Kongluklar, Tayvanlıklar ve Kazak karendaşlarımız mı birlikte cem olduk. Ve biz bir yerde anlap ötkensizler, hammadamning talebi bir yerde müstakillik. Çünkü bizning müstakilligimiz bo'lmay turib, bizning kishilik huquqimiz bulanmaydi aziz qarindoshlar. Bizning insondek yashash huquqimiz bo'lmaydi qarindoshlar. Bizningki diniy erkinlikimiz va yoki boshqa narsamiz bo'lmaydi aziz qarindoshlar. Davlatimizni yo'qotib qo'yganligimiz uchun qirilyapmiz aziz qarindoshlar. Davlatsiz xalqlar mana bizda kunni tatidi aziz qarindoshlar. Shuning uchun Xitoyningki ve Xitoyning halçılarınınki oliy avtonomiya ve yalg'onlik kishilik huquq shuarlarga aldanmaymiz qarindoshlar. Bizning birlam qutulish yo'limiz mustaqillik ve biz bu yo'lda chin tura olsak ve birlikte harakat qila olsak, qo'rqmay ur tura olsak, qarindoshlik vatanparvar burchimizni ado qila olsak ve insani burcumuzda da kılarsak biz çokum yakın kelgüsüde kutulumuz qarindoshlar. Şarkı Türkistan'a müstakillik!
Şarkı Türkistan'a müstakillik!
Şarkı Türkistan'a müstakillik!
Şarkı Türkistan'a müstakillik!
Yaşasın Şarkı Türkistan!
Yaşasın Şarkı Türkistan!
Yaşasın Şarkı Türkistan!
Yaşasın Şarkı Türkistan!
Thank you.
Thank you, Salik. Salik traveled all the way from Washington, D.C. Thank you for your inspiring speech. Reports coming out from Tibet just yesterday that at least 10 people has been imprisoned for not participating in the parade of the founding day. There's no reason for us Tibetans to participate in the parade. The country, the regime that has killed our families, the regime that has killed our brothers and sisters, we are still forced to participate in these parade. We don't want to see this parade. We will never participate in this parade. And also, in Hong Kong, until today, they have been using tear gas and rubber bullets. And news coming out today that they are now using the real bullets. And at least one person has been shot in Hong Kong. So we are sending strong message to the government of People's Republic of China, and we are sending strong message to the Carrie Lam's government that they should immediately stop its unhuman activities. Next, we have a speaker from Hong Kong.
Free Hong Kong!
Free Hong Kong!
Free Taiwan!
Free Taiwan!
Free East Turkestan!
Free East Turkestan!
Free Mongolia!
Free Mongolia!
Thank you all so much for being here. I come to you with a broken heart. As mentioned by the previous speaker, there is a student that was shot in Hong Kong on October 1st. And I wanna cry, but there's not really, our people are under attack. And not just in Hong Kong, but all of our communities within China. And yet we stand here today, all of us here, trying to fight with them. Despite how far we are, our hearts are with them. And so I don't want to take too much time, and I wanted to read a manifesto that's been written by Hong Kongers. And so I hope you would be patient with me as I read this manifesto. The 1st October 2019 Hong Kong Liberation Manifesto. Dear Hong Kongers and friends of Hong Kong around the world, protesters have issued 3 manifestos during the 2019 Hong Kong protests, which have persisted for over 100 days. They include the Manifesto of Hong Kongers announced in the Legislative Council chamber on July 1st, the Depot Road Manifesto at the Liaison Office of the Central People's Government on July 21st, and the Manifesto on the eve of general strike in Lambton MTR station on August 4th. All manifestos call upon the HKSAR government to meet our 5 demands. First, to completely withdraw the extradition bill, to retract the riot characterization of any anti-extradition protest, to release all arrested protesters without charge and not to persecute any protesters in relation to the anti-extradition protest. Fourth, to establish an independent commission of inquiry to investigate the abuse of power by the police. And fifth, to dissolve the Legislative Council by way of an executive order and immediately implement full universal suffrage for Legislative Council and Chief Executive elections. After 100 days of resistance, the HKSAR government has finally retracted the bill. Not only is this a key concession of the government that has sworn to not yield to citywide protests, but it also shows that the protesters have legitimate demands. While the HKSAR government has promised to open talks with members of the public, the convener of the Executive Council has proclaimed that the government will not respond to the rest of the demands. We reiterate that before all 5 demands are met, any form of dialogue or negotiation is meaningless. Protesters will defend Hong Kong's democracy and freedom to the very end. We have witnessed escalating violence by the Hong Kong police force towards protesters and citizens since June. On numerous occasions, the police have oppressed protesters with excessive force, turned a blind eye to indiscriminate riot attacks on innocent citizens, and assaulted civilian passengers inside an MTR station and train carriages. The police penchant for systematic and disproportionate violence has made them no better than criminals. They dehumanize, harass, and torture Hong Kongers. The government has also infiltrated the business sector and pressured companies into dismissing or alienating pro-democracy employees, which is tearing society apart and paves the way for future purges. Should our fight fail, there will be no path forward for Hong Kong. There is no turning back. In these times of prevailing injustice, it is our utmost responsibility to stand up and fight against violence. One who does not fear death cares not for threats. We will not legitimize a government that uses violence to oppress its people. We condemn the blatant collusion between the Chinese Communist Party and HKSAR government, for they have encroached upon our autonomy and destroyed our law and order in Hong Kong. The government has long lost its legitimacy in light of their blatant violation of the Sino-British Joint Declaration. We hereby urge all civil servants, including members of the Hong Kong Police Force, to refuse to obey any unreasonable orders and to stop aiding the government in furthering their unconstitutional regime. We call on you to speak up for your fellow citizens and expose any unlawful or unethical acts of the regime. The current regime has utterly failed to respond to the people's demands, forcing citizens to sacrifice their time, well-being, freedom, and even their lives just to get their message across. As such, Hong Kong must undergo extensive political reform. If the HKSAR government cannot fulfill its constitutional responsibility to implement genuine, full, universal suffrage, then we must and shall forge a new path. We call on all civil servants who have a conscience to rise with members of the public to form a professional parliament, draft a new constitution, and establish a professional government. The path towards democracy and freedom is beset on all sides with the tyranny of evil men. No matter what lies ahead, Hong Kongers would rather die on our feet than live on our knees. We will, by any means necessary, will build Hong Kong into a united, democratic, free, and just society. Free Hong Kong!
Free Hong Kong!
Free Tibet!
Free Tibet!
Free the Uyghurs! Free East Turkestan!
Free East Turkestan!
Free South Mongolia!
Free South Mongolia!
When our communities are under attack, what do we do? Stand up! Fight back! When our communities are under attack, what do we do?
Stand up! Fight back!
Thank you all so much.
Stand up with Hong Kong.
Thank you, speaker from Hong Kong. Next we have Gani from Kazakhstan. He will speak on his native language. Gani, please.
Just Mr. Rani. Rani speaker of Kazakhstan.
Ассалаумағалейкум, құрметті отандастар. Бүгінгі таңда Қытайда 500 мың қазақ заңсыз түрде түрмеде және концентрация лагерлерінде қамалған. Қытайлар қазақтарды қырып жатыр, Қытайлар ұйғырларды қырып жатыр, Қытайлар тибеттіктерді қырып жатыр, Қытайлар монғолдар мен тайвандарды қырып жатыр. Бүгін Қытай коммунистік билігіне 70 жыл толды. Біз барлық халықтар Қытайға қарсы бірігу керекпіз. Өйткені Қытайдың коммунистік билігі барлық әлемге қауіп төндіруде. Егер біз бүгін бірікпесек, ертең кеш болады. Және қазіргі таңда қазақ билігі қазақтың басты жауы болып келеді. Өйткені диктатор Назарбаев елімізді, жерімізді Қытайға сатуда. Осы жылдан бастап қазақтың кейбір мектептерінде Қытай тілі үйрену басталды. Қытай тілінде сабақ оқитын басталды. Қазіргі таңда Қазақстан Қытайдан 13 миллиард доллар қарыз алды. Және сол қарызын төлей алмай жатыр. Және диктатор Назарбаев сол үшін Қытайларды Қазақстанға кіргізіп жатыр. Және қазақтың келесі ұрпағын Қытайға сатып жатыр. Құрметті отандастар, қазақ халқы, біз бірігу керекпіз. Біздің басты жауымыз диктатор Назарбаевқа қарсы, коммунистік Қытайға қарсы, Ресейге қарсы шығу керекпіз. Қазақ ояныңдар және өз мүддесі үшін күресіңдер. Біз қорықпай көшеге 100 мыңдап шығу керекпіз. Бейбіт шеруге шығу керекпіз. Және біздің басты жауымыз диктатор Назарбаевты жою керекпіз. Өйткені сол қазақтың мүддесін, қазақтың жерін Қытайға да, Ресейге де сатуда. Құрметті қазақстандықтар, оян қазақ, бірігіңдер, қорықпаңдар, шығыңдар көшеге, жауыз билікпен күресіңдер. Және қара Қытайға жол бермеңдер. Қытайдағы қазақ үшін күресейік, Қытайдағы қазақтың бостандығы үшін күресейік. Және қазақ елінің қытайландыруына қарсы күресейік. Оян қазақ!
Next, we have last speaker. The last speaker is Chidi Govindela. Govindela is current member of Tibetan Parliament in Qatar. We are so fortunate to have him here today. Govindela, please. Long Kashiba, please interpret.
Thomas Delia, Zanishi de Tuban, Rishini Lamten, on se chama Dalila Mucholia, Kosum, Kwesha Bantini, Tarin, Yadamavi Shungi, Long Lanyana Dam, Tarinki Nina, Nimandelia, Zani Nadi Jesukin Dianlia, Ron La Gai, Poduchiva Sinandolia, Tarin, Okolea, the Shumbati, First of all, honor and homage, respect to the leader of world peace, His Holiness the Dalai Lama. And today, here, got an opportunity to speak in front of the people who like freedom. Mansutarin Delia. Jipo Mendo Tony, Marie Mendo Tony, Manso Denian Zunche, within the Mansolia, Gigi Togun Tima Diginella Maimba, Zani Nandi Jesu, Manso Romi, Olia, Tatu Chengi, Bichani,
Jana Shungi, Melody Chuzilia, Dozo Jinji, Seju Digitone, Zanini Jesuki, Tindangi to the Shashu Pibu, Dimansu Setu Mindu, and the Rinsun Zanani Jesuki to the Imbayania, Tin the Lada Chivitone, Tanda Pundoya, Tanda Manzuchi, Jacob Nanda Momachi, Medi Medawa Nololia, Putsuginian Kaga, Sanju Chivitone, Mansolia, Joa Meshison Vitone, Petseve, Ani Chinji Jacob Pangalia. Rang Gugu Sia Gitaringi Mansuki, better take it on the Chavachilam when
today, here the people from the different countries has assembled here not for their own purpose, not for our own purpose, but for the freedoms of the countries and also in front of the United Nations building to express and to say that our countries were in truth without any legitimation. So we are just here express and to tell the United Nations to control or to monitor those legitimacy on the basis of legitimacy and needs freedoms for every country.
Person Shobayina, Mansu, Pe Jikuti, Looking Tolhage, Ransen, Sama Imbi, Jikuti, Tajana Mabi Shungi, Tarim Koran, Lutuju, Tutin, Zevutu Yorade, Pevaching Muletevayina, Mabi Shungi, Pelia, Tinin, Chaya, Gimbutu, Lutuju Kubu Yore, Judicial Gold, and Pelia, and Gutu Chadi Yore, Tichu Kalia, Zanin Digitolia, Ron Lagai, Jigo Inari, so the Chasange Tony, Petia, Luigi Ranchi Tembe, Ransen Samin Jigo, the Jana Mabi, Semula Jonathan, Longan, the Digi Kubicolia, Chi, Mujini Getonare, Papa Loctoya, Penololia, Chi, Mumbuta Mumugi, Tusu Shubati, Moro Shembatsugi, Tichi, Jeva maybe Tony, Zanisa Shu Pansalia, Lengu Pibuya, the Hatangi, Tati Penololia, Jana Jongi, Shashel Teva Imene. Jana Shungi, Kaden Sila Manebi, Hong Kong Lia, Luni Zani Mazumandukulia, Potsuki, Shashi Deliteva Imania, Maro Shambatsuki, Duni Dusuya, Sosuki, Chun Rijun Sunja, Habatoya, Pest Nolo Shugingi, Pemetsu, Yemichela, Tema Manchevi, Tindigi to say to Yoba, the Mansu Trembi Tony, Kadu Mansu Koko Tanzi Tony, Totinaro Nance, the Megishu.
If you take a small example, Tibet is actually 2,000 years old country, and as comparing to the 70 years of the forming of Chinese Communist Party is nothing. So therefore, the people from every country who likes the freedom are asking for the sacrifice of those people who are under Chinese brutal laws for freedom. We all here must stand up and support, and also we should organize activities. For example, Hong Kong also, even not completing the 22 years of their agreement, since they are handling to the Chinese, but still not even completion of the 22 years, Chinese already started to interfere, and they kills and brutal tortures. So I request to all the people from all the countries who likes freedoms, continues to organize and fight for the freedoms. And
Tamam Yogushalia, Tatana Maransu, Sanjuli Malu Tuju Yore, Peden Totsi, the Mero Yusugi, Totsi dressing by the child Yore, the Imbe, Tanda Chalia, Manzo, Kanyan Chuchi, that Kasambujan Shovaina, Sanju Shutu Nololia, Ran Susugin, Deva, Kim Maki Vitoni, Tawalan Shubitoni, Manso Noncolia, Sobajodia Chida, and Ichiki Chilia. Ci Minchin Suyagi Leshi to Yore, the two Kangaya Mero Jamba Tsugi, Joe Shani, Maransuki, Totsuchi, the Miuchi Gitoni, Nonquilia, Nimachi, Kembe dan leshili ya drama gube to ne ta je julang khali ya ani choba choge ji mi jezong ge to ne tawa lang shu ge to ne lengu pi ba de le ya su ze jing je ne de ge kha ji yo de zhe zhang de man zhe cha song ge to ne mon zi ma ne ya to ne ja ga ma bi shong ge to ne zhen je shu zu li yin ba ne ha ba to yang zang ning khali ya be mi jo ji de je bi to li yin be ne nga rang ge ngo le ta tu je ba ne ja cha ja su ba tong yo le zhen gu do de zhe ge le shi di then tamba kwangsa chu ki ka du ma gwe to ne pe mo nong ku lung gen da zhe ya gi che go kwangsa chu ka yin se ne nong ku le ya nian nian che ya gi le shi ji zang de gu yo de de le gi po le yin bei ne nga zu pang ge shong zhong zong mo ge to a de zhe le ya do le nyang du che gu ya da o de zhe ha zhang gi be mo shi de hin zong mo le tong gu yo de la yin che ka shi ni ge to le ya lang den se ne de pe gu yo de nga zu nong ku zhe ba ma de shi gi tun chen sha ne nga zu nong ku le dong yun zhong ba yin na de le nga zu cha sang gi na za le ma su na chang sa le zhe gu du se ya ju yo de de ko le ya gong ba shi gu na se de me gu ni ba ti.
And I also would like to request that in our struggle, for the Tibetan struggle is actually is about our lifespan times, and now these days we are just putting away of our man struggles, and then within our own communities on the basis of our own ideologies. So there is indifferences, many indifferences, and many are not going to the events or protests, and but staying and attaching with some group chats, and then just intermingling, just mingling with the different ideologies, and then tracking down each other. That is, especially the young generations should be aware of that and should alert, and also must focus on our main struggles. That's my second request.
Zamaling ge nolo yin ba yin re mon so ge rong nong lo le ya ta wa lang shu men da wa ge to ne zhe ba jo gui ya di ji xie den ba zhe dang nyang yong jian su ge yang ne yang ne ga lo pe gu yo de da su su rang yin de ji na me zi qu shu le ya lo ni jing yin jing le de ba yin ne yang qu shu ge to le yin ba yin ne yang den ba zhong din de ge jin ju ge ji su zhang bi nong bi zhu ta ma xi yo de pe kang qian le yin ba yin ne nong bi zhu ta ma we ji su zhang yi ge qu ji jin bi xi yong du bian yong guo de de ji de超市的狼树这面这个我们应该呢，大瓦当狼树嘛，对面做的狼树其东西去贵啊，哈场给钱不差的贵啊，这里第一就讲了呀，根据农落了呀，这把农的蛮多啊，大瓦狼树越比多呢，这点米里给切多，长林杀树光杀了呀，现在做了呀，对吧？那托给出吧，那些马上给出吧，你了文进切的贵，最初农落了学的贵，干以前呢，别就是那人做当，别当成老主出吧你了呀。但是不过你个句呢，土地其实要当忙不了呀，是了呀，娘用啥呀？给等价忙是这边多呢。这点投资的，就没开始就给业绩满意吧，没有给钱查从给业绩用吧的，那你少用个句呢，可能不做了呀，两个，绕到里面比如那些呀，第一个多呢，刚才了呀，土地确实他们的。
I left few sentences in the first part. The conflict or arguments on the basis of ideology is the parliamentarian as well as the Kashak also have a concern on that. So therefore, especially the younger generations, be aware of that. And then, in general, in the world or in any community, the difference in the ideologies is as usual. Even in the practitioners of Dharma, the Dharma of the Lord Buddha himself has already been advised that there is different ideologies, and among the sect, or especially we have Buddha and also the other 4 sects. So there are different ideologies. So therefore, in the politically, the views are important, and I consider that different ideology should be there. So therefore, this is one of part and portions of the struggles. And then our parliamentarians and on behalf of parliamentarians in our communities, the political organizations that I considering appreciate is the Tibetan Youth Congress and Student Free Tibet is always standing and focusing on struggling for our common enemy. So therefore, I appreciate it, and I also say thanks and also request it to keep on and keep going for all those activities. That's my third request. Thank you.
Thank you, Chidi Govindala. Actually, Chidi Govindala has been fixed his schedule. He's very busy, but after our request, he spent some of his time with us. We really would like to thank him for sharing his precious time and precious speech. Yep, thank you. And then next, we're gonna sing a group song. Since we are running out of time, I don't want to explain about the song. The lyrics itself will explain about the song. So please, everyone take out the lyrics. We're gonna sing loud. Right? 1, 2, 3. We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe we shall overcome someday. We are not afraid. We are not afraid. We are not afraid today. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe we shall overcome someday. We are not alone. We are not alone. We are not alone today. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe we are not alone today. Truth will make us free. Truth will make us free. Truth will make us free someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe we shall overcome someday. We will walk hand in hand. We will walk in hand. We will walk in hand someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe we shall overcome someday. We shall all be free. We shall all be free. We shall all be free someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe we shall overcome someday. Thank you, everyone. Next, we are, the Chinese flag has 5 stars, and the 4 stars, actually they have 2 explanations. One explanation, they gives explanation of classes, but in socialism there is no classes. Everyone is same. So these explanations are false and absurd. So these stars actually represents Manchus, Hui, Tibet, and Mongolia. So today we are taking out the stars. We are not part of People's Republic of China. Okay. So Tibetans, Mongolians, East Turkestan, Manchus are not part of China. So we are taking off the stars. Yep.
Let's go. Let's go. Marathon.
Tibetan representative will take off the first star. Free Tibet! Free Tibet! Free Tibet! Free Tibet! Tibet is not part of China! Tibet is not part of China! Tibet is independent country! Tibet is independent country! Stop killings in Tibet! Free Tibet now! Free Tibet now! Free Tibet now!
Теперь представительство Гонконга и Тайваня.
Free Mongolia now! Free Southern Mongolia now! Free Southern Mongolia now! Southern Mongolia is not part of China! Southern Mongolia is not part of China! Stop killings in Southern Mongolia! Stop killings in Southern Mongolia! East Turkestan.
И сейчас представитель Восточного Туркестана.
Free East Turkestan now! Free East Turkestan now! East Turkestan is not part of China! East Turkestan is not part of China! Stop killings in East Turkestan! Stop killings in East Turkestan! Next we have Kazakhstan.
Восточного Туркестана.
Representing Manchuria.
Free Manchuria now! Free Kazakhstan now! Free Kazakhstan now! Kazakhstan is not part of China! Kazakhstan is not part of China! Free Manchuria! Free Manchuria! Alright, so next, now we're going to have more slogans. The slogans will be continued, and then so I'm sorry.
China, China, China!
China!
for Manchuria!
Down, down, down! China, China, China! China, China, China! Wake up, United Nations! We want independence! We want free Tibet! We want free East to
Stand up, United Nations!
Stand up, United Nations!
Stand up, United Nations!
Stand up, United Nations!
Stand up against terrorist China!
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 Stand up, United Nations!
Stand up, United Nations!
Stand up, United Nations!
Stand up, United Nations!
Stand up against fascist China!
Stand up against fascist China!
Stand up against fascist China!
Stand up against genocide!
Stand up against genocide!
Stand up against genocide!
Stand up against occupation!
Stand up against occupation!
Stand up against occupation!
Stand up against occupation!
We want independence!
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 Independence for East Turkestan!
Independence for East Turkestan!
Independence for East Turkestan!
Independence for East Turkestan!
Independence for Tibet!
Independence for Tibet!
Independence for Tibet!
Independence for Tibet!
Independence for Hong Kong!
Independence for Hong Kong!
Independence for Hong Kong!
Independence for Hong Kong!
Independence for Southern Mongolia!
Independence for Southern Mongolia!
Independence for Southern Mongolia!
Independence for Southern Mongolia!
Independence for Manchuria!
Independence for Manchuria!
Independence for Manchuria!
Independence for Manchuria!
Independence for Taiwan!
Independence for Taiwan!
Independence for Taiwan! China, stop the expansion in Kazakhstan! China, stop the expansion in Kazakhstan!
China stopped extension to Kazakhstan.
China, get out of Kazakhstan!
China get out of Kazakhstan.
China, get out of Kazakhstan!
China get out of Kazakhstan.
China, get out of East Turkestan!
China get out of East Turkestan.
China, get out of East Turkestan!
China get out of East Turkestan.
China, get out of Tibet!
China get out of Tibet.
China, get out of Tibet!
China get out of Tibet.
China, get out of Hong Kong!
China get out of Hong Kong.
China, get out of Hong Kong!
China get out of Hong Kong.
China, get out of Southern Mongolia!
China get out of Southern Mongolia.
China, get out of Southern Mongolia!
China get out of Southern Mongolia.
China, get out of Manchuria!
China
China, get out of Manchuria! Go home, China!
go home China.
Go home, China!
Go home China.
Go home, China!
Go home China.
China in the occupation!
China in the occupation.
China in the occupation!
China in the occupation.
We want independence!
We want independence.
We want independence!
We want independence.
Independence for East Turkestan!
Independence for East Turkestan.
Independence for East Turkestan!
Independence for East Turkestan.
Independence for Tibet! Independence for Tibet! Independence for South Mongolia! Independence for South Mongolia!
Independence for South Mongolia.
Independence for Manchuria! Independence for Manchuria! Independence for Hong Kong! Independence for Hong Kong! We are one! We are one! We are one! We are one! United we will succeed! United we will succeed! Down with the CCP!
Down in the CCP.
Down with the CCP! Down with the Chinese occupiers! Down with the Chinese occupiers! Long live our independence!
Long live independence.
Long live our independence!
Long live independence.